When I first started designing this cabin, I didn't have a definite plan or anything. I knew that I wanted it to be a 16 by 22 cabin, but I didn't really have a design per se in mind. Once we started to break ground and as time went on, it slowly started to come to me. And I put a design on paper, and I was able to slowly bring that design to life. I am very proud of the effort that we've put into building this cabin, and I hope that in watching my videos, they bring you just as much comfort as they bring me in making them. And I hope you continue to follow along for the journey as I build my dream cabin. So I will admit that one of the toughest things and one of the hardest decisions to come by was deciding how tall I wanted this ridge beam to be. I knew that I wanted a steep pitch of a roof just because this isn't a place that I'm going to be able to go to all of the time, so I didn't want the snow load to be extremely heavy on top of the roof because this isn't an area that gets a pretty decent amount of snowfall throughout the winter. And also, one of the main components of this cabin was to have a loft big enough to hold at least a queen size bed to accommodate sleeping. After going back and forth for a couple of days, I finally decided that I wanted the ridge beam to be 10 feet high once it was on top of the loft. So from the first floor to the top of the ridge beam, it would be 18 feet high altogether. Originally, the rafters were going to be 2 by 10s, but I decided to change them to 2 by 6s. So these 2 by 10 boards will eventually be used as the purlins. Once the purlins are on, then you will screw the metal sheeting for the metal roof on top of those. So the ridge beam supports that we already had up that were too short, we had to end up taking those down and putting new ones up because now the ridge beam was going to be 10 foot instead of 8. We did half of the ridge beam that was above the loft, and then we started putting the rafters above the loft to get the first half of the roof completed. 2 by 6s for the rafters. Nailing the rafters into these brackets. The rafters at the top connected to the ridge beam are toe nailed in, but before we do the metal sheeting on top of the roof, we will be using hurricane ties to attach the rafters to the ridge beam.
Yeah, but that kind of.
It was nice to have some extra help today, and this is our friend Frank. So right here, he is just putting the ridge beam up. It is 10 feet from the top of the wall plate, and the walls are 8 feet high, so this ridge beam will be 18 feet high altogether. I am so thankful to have had his help because this job is not for the weak. Not only are you up high, but you're on this scaffolding that isn't the most stable. Yeah.
Line on the other end there.
Let me get
down a little bit, Paige. There's on the mark.
not. Or starting to get high.
Uh-huh.
bit.
Over there.
Yeah, I don't. Been a heavier gun.
Right? Yeah, you could have got one with weight on it.
True.
Oh.
These pieces that I am nailing in are called purlins, and they are 10 inches apart from each other, and eventually the metal sheeting for the metal roof will be screwed onto these to secure the metal sheeting to them. Yep, we're good. Yep, perfect. No, not on the end.
Have a scrap you got one out of. I'll figure out how you back up through here. Yeah.
The very end, or?
Yeah, just somewhere where it'll hold it up in place.
That'll be good.
Yeah. Oh. There, handy saw.
Sure, it's in.
Yeah. Then we got to keep over. 128 and a quarter.
Shed, aren't we? When we assemble it, obviously we couldn't use nails.
You mean for this one?
Yeah. Frank pretty much finished the purlins on each side of the roof, so that was a huge help to me, and I'm really appreciative of the help. I wasn't used to not having anything to do while up here at the land, so I decided to split some kindling just to pass the time. And after 3 long days, the roof prep was done. The rafters were up and the purlins were up. So the next step will be putting the metal material up for the roof.